Military technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate, and the United States has set a new, dizzying standard. The world is reeling from the A-10 Warthog's recent revelation of its mind-blowing upgrades. This improved behemoth will further establish American superiority in the sky and redefine what it means to be an aerial superpower in the 21st century. To what purpose has the U.S. been engaged in developing and implementing these revolutionary upgrades? Come along as we investigate the methods used by the U.S. to test a lethal laser weapon on the new A-10 Warthog supertank, America's armed forces. A primary interest that consumes global powers is the never-ending pursuit of military domination. U.S. spending of billions on R&D of cutting-edge weaponry has kept the world in awe and prospective adversaries at arm's length in this high-stakes race to the top. Having an unrivaled arsenal of firepower is more than simply a deterrence. It's a strong statement of solid determination for the nation that regards itself as the principal supporter of freedom and democracy. In 2022, President Biden solidified America's resolute determination to preserve its military dominance by signing the massive $816.7 billion National Defense Authorization Act. The defense contractors received a considerable $389.5 billion of this enormous sum, feeding the worldwide arms industry's voracious appetite that is fueled by the ever-present threat of conflict. The country's aspiration to be the strongest in the military is closely tied to the fortunes of these enormous enterprises, which include illustrious names like General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon Technologies, and together hold a market value of $297.68 billion. However, a disturbing reality is emerging on the horizon, even as the U.S. boasts about its financial might. As a result of China's ascent, the once uncontested superpower is now faced with the worrisome prospect of seeing its technological lead erode. The rapid development of China's hypersonic technology, artificial intelligence, and digital competence has senior officials worried that their country could overtake the United States military in the next 5 years. Word of this concern quickly circulated throughout the halls of power. Difficulty negotiating difficult terrain while oblivious to impending threats is one of the problems the Pentagon faces. The military isn't as agile as it could be due to bureaucratic regulations, excessive government control, and problems utilizing private sector technology. One major concern for the Biden administration's defense strategy is keeping up with authoritarian competitors who swiftly upgrade their military with the aid of industry and espionage. There are a lot of obstacles to overcome, such as the government's lack of personnel with the necessary artificial intelligence, AI expertise, and the race to develop hypersonic weapons on par with China and Russia. The challenges already faced by the Pentagon are exacerbated by its failure to adequately invest in digital security and its failure to recognize the significance of software. Glimmers of optimism emerge within these formidable challenges. In the Afghan and Iraqi conflicts, there was a rapid creation of protection vehicles and a partnership between special operations forces and the business sector. These examples show what is possible when creativity and urgency are combined. The present emphasis is on strategic competition with China, but the protracted battles that have occupied military priority for 20 years now serve as a diversion. One possible explanation is that the customary sense of urgency required to confront a near-peer enemy like Beijing has been dampened, stemming from a period of uncontested supremacy. The U.S. is at a crossroads in its military power struggle with huge consequences. Courage it muster the courage and creativity to recover its technological superiority, or will it succumb to the crushing bureaucracy and relentless pursuit of its enemies? Generations to come may see the outcome of this question affect the global power dynamic, from helicopter gunships to aircraft innovation. After Warthog 2, the United States cut down on the production of regularly armed assault planes, instead focusing on tactical aircraft designs that could deliver nuclear weapons quickly, such as the Republic F-105 Thunderchief and the McDonnell F-101 Voodoo. With the United States military's entry into the Vietnam War, the Douglas A-1 Skyraider, an aircraft that had served in the Korean War, became the primary ground attack weapon. Despite the A-1 Skyraider's large payload and loiter time, 266 of them were shot down in Vietnam, mostly by small arms fire, because to its propeller-driven design. There were requests for specialized assault planes because conventional attack capabilities were outdated. Robert McNamara, the United States Secretary of Defense, ordered the United States Air Force to design 2 tactical aircraft in June 1961, one for fighter-bomber duties and another for long-range strike and interdiction. The F-111 Aardvark, built by General Dynamics, was based on the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, which belonged to the United States Navy. The Phantom was effective in combat, but it was difficult to use because to its short flight time and expensive price tag. The United States Air Force, USAF, looked for a budget plane to join the F-4 and F-111 after reviewing its tactical force structure. The Northrop F-5 with air-to-air capability was first considered in a 1965 cost-effectiveness analysis, but the emphasis was changed to the less expensive A-7D version of the LTV A-7 Corsair II. Nevertheless, the A-7D's price tag increased by 100% because of the need for an improved engine and brand-new electronics. At this time, the U.S. Army deployed the Bell UH-1 Iroquois, a helicopter that was originally meant for transport but was quickly modified for use as a gunship in combat. Its success against weakly armed enemies prompted the inclusion of more machine guns, which in turn prompted the installation of further guns and rocket pods. The Bell AH-1 Cobra, a new breed of attack helicopter, debuted shortly after, equipped with BGM-71 TOW missiles that could reach tanks beyond the range of artillery fire. In response to the success of the Cobra, the United States military shifted its focus from tactical nuclear weapons to anti-tank helicopters, a tactic that NATO has supported since the 1950s as its principal defensive strategy in Europe against possible advances by the Warsaw Pact. The United States Air Force conducted a research in 1966 that found areas where close air support may be improved. The study focused on the Cheyenne's capacity to fill escort and employ oppression tasks. The study stressed the need of creating suitable doctrine, tactics, and procedures to make good use of such aircraft for mission objectives and suggested purchasing a basic, inexpensive CAS plane that is at least as capable as the A-1. A-10 Program Milestone, Full-Rate Production Authority issued by Deputy Secretary of Defense Bill Clements on February 10, 1976. On March 13, 1976, the United States Air Force Tactical Air Command formally accepted the first A-10. There was a dramatic increase in production, which peaked at 13 planes per month. 715 planes, including 2 prototypes and 6 development planes, had been shipped by 1984. The A-10's original estimated service life was 6,000 hours. However, problems surfaced when testing failed at 80% capacity during the initial fatigue testing. The A-10 was able to pass fatigue tests satisfactorily after a slight design reinforcement was quickly applied to remedy this. The goal of fatigue testing was changed to 8,000 hours as a result of the increasing prevalence of 8,000 flight-hour service lifetimes. Later, in 1979, fatigue testing was started under Spectrum 3 circumstances, and it was found that there needed to be more reinforcement. Some of the production improvements that were made included cold, working at some wing stations and thickening the lower skin on the outer wing panels. Increasing the thickness of the lower skin on the center wing panel was one of several improvements made to later production aircraft to solve recurring fatigue difficulties. The mixed fleet's differing requirements were the result of the economic impossibility of upgrading earlier planes with these upgrades, an A-10 Thunderbolt II's bold past. The A-10 Warthog, one of America's most formidable armament systems, has recently received extensive improvements that have greatly increased its capability. A number of these fighter jets have just been sent to the Middle East by the U.S. This aircraft has demonstrated its worth in countless conflicts over the past 50 years, despite its $10 million price tag. As a close attack jet designed specifically to provide ground troops with close air support, the A-10 has a variety of lethal capabilities and is still unrivaled in American history. Supporting ground troops in warfare, its mission comprises numerous duties, such as halting enemy tanks and wiping out huge concentrations of men. Tanks, armored vehicles, and other ground targets can be easily destroyed by this single-seat fighter jet, which is equipped with 2 strong engines. The Warthog is a formidable weapon despite its clumsy appearance compared to other fighters like the McDonnell Douglas, F-15 Eagle, and F-16 Fighting Falcon. Because of this upgrade, it is now the most desirable fighter plane in the world. This fighter plane has just been sent to the Middle East by the U.S. in multiple groups, highlighting its strategic value in modern combat. The main low-altitude close air support aircraft of the United States Air Force is the A-10 Thunderbolt II, which is affectionately referred to as the A-10 Warthog due to its ferocious appearance and the fact that it is sometimes shown with teeth on the nose cone. The A-10's terrifying GAU-8 Avenger 30mm is probably its most recognizable feature. Gatling gun installed on the front of the vessel. Fired from the GAU-8 are high-explosive incendiary rounds and armor-piercing depleted uranium bullets. Being an extremely precise and survivable vehicle for weapons delivery, the A-10 Thunderbolt II possesses exceptional maneuverability at low airspeeds and altitudes. The plane can fly in low visibility and low ceiling situations for long periods of time, and it can remain near war zones. The short takeoff and landing distance and broad fighting radius make it possible to conduct operations in and out of areas close to the front lines. A-10 pilots are able to complete their missions even when it's dark since they have night vision goggles. Featuring a big bubble canopy that gives pilots all-around view and a night view imaging system, NVIS, that is compatible with goggles, Thunderbolt IIs have a single-seat cockpit forward of the wings. Titanium armor shields the pilots and some components of the flight control system from harm. Improved survivability during close air support compared to earlier aircraft is a result of the redundant primary structural parts. The plane can take damage from high explosive and armor-piercing bullets up to 23 mm in diameter, but it will still fly. Foam both inside and outside the vehicle safeguards the fuel cells that close themselves. Their redundant hydraulic flight control systems are backed up by manual mechanisms. Even if hydraulic power goes out, pilots can still land and take off thanks to this. There have been numerous upgrades to the A-10 Warthog throughout the years. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona received the first A-10A aircraft in October 1975. The Pave-Penny laser receiver pod, which detected reflected laser radiation from a laser designator, was installed on board the aircraft in 1978. Advanced targeting pods, which are more capable, have now replaced Pave-Penny. In the year 1988, the A-10 started getting an inertial navigation system. Following that, a ground collision warning system, an autopilot, and computerized weapon aiming equipment were all part of the low-altitude safety and targeting enhancement upgrade. Although the A-10 was first unveiled in 1988, it was until the Gulf War in 1991 that its true potential was revealed. A total of 132 A-10s were sent into action, carrying out 8,100 sorties and launching 95% of the AGM-65 Maverick missiles utilized in the battle, resulting in an outstanding 95% mission-capable rate. Beyond its already stellar reputation, its efficacy was further proven in battles in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Libya, Bosnia, and Kosovo, among others. In 1987, Grumman Aerospace took over support for the A-10 program. By 1993, they had adjusted maintenance plans to fix problems with damage handling. Nevertheless, worries about wing fatigue, which had been raised before, were even more apparent. There was a drastic cut in personnel as a result of maintenance plan delays and base relocations. No matter how hard we tried to fix the cracks found during the 1995 and 1996 inspections, they kept coming back. These fissures were considered critical and needed to be repaired by the year 2001. In 1999, the Warthog upgrading program got underway. However, it ran into problems. Over the course of the program's lifetime, replacing the wings was determined to be the most cost-effective approach, but it would cost an estimated $172 billion. The A-10C variant was an outcome of the Precision Engagement Program's upgrade of 356 A-10s and OA-10s from 2005 to 2011. Improvements to the cockpit, electronic countermeasures, smart bomb targeting, communication technology, and combat capabilities in all weather conditions were among the enhancements. It was predicted that these improvements, refurbishments, and service life extensions would cost a total of $225 billion. A new multi-function display and global positioning system navigation equipment were installed in aircraft in 1999. Enhanced fire control, electronic countermeasures, cockpit displays, smart bomb delivery capabilities, digital store management, lightning and sniper advanced targeting pod integration, situational awareness data link, SADL, variable message format, VMF, GPS-guided weapons, and DC power upgrades were all part of the precision engagement upgrade that was implemented across the entire A-10 fleet in 2005. Every single A-10 has been upgraded with precision engagement features and is now known as an A-10C. Sparsely populated bases close to war zones can service and operate the Thunderbolt II. You can swap out the engines, main landing gear, and vertical stabilizers for different ones on the other side of the plane. Aircraft avionics consist of devices that can communicate over many bands, use GPS and inertial navigation systems, detect and avoid air-to-air and air-to-surface threats using infrared technology, and more. An additional feature is a heads-up display that shows flight and weapon delivery data. Thunderbolt II can use a broad array of conventional munitions, such as cluster bomb units, laser-guided bombs, general-purpose bombs, AGM-65 Maverick, and AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles, rockets, illumination flares, and the GAU-8/, a 30mm cannon, which can shoot at tanks and other targets. On September 27, 2007, the improved A-10C achieved initial operating capability. Its huge and diversified ordnance load, lengthy loiter time, accurate weapons delivery, austere field capability, and survivability make it ideal for close air support and have been essential to the U.S. and its allies. This particular aircraft has flown in support of several military missions, including Desert Fox, Desert Storm, Southern Watch, Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, Noble Anvil, Deliberate Guard, Deny Flight, and Allied Force. The A-10C's capabilities were further strengthened through continuous software upgrades, such as the Suite 8 upgrade that Secretary of the Air Force Deborah Lee James mandated in response to congressional pressure. Ever-reliable Skykeeper. The primary defense system of the Warthog was an aircraft-specific gun known as the GAU-8 Gatling-style Avenger autocannon. With its lightning-fast firing rate and impressive top speed, this formidable weapon can unleash 3,900 rounds of large depleted uranium armor-piercing shells per minute. Because they are essentially piloting a flying machine gun, pilots have compared firing this cannon to negotiating extremely bumpy train rails. This fighter plane carries more than just the Avenger autocannon, though. Warthogs can carry up to 7.93 tons of various armaments thanks to 11 attachment points, 3 under the main body of the plane and 8 under the wings. The AGM-65A and AGM-65B Mavericks are 2 examples of the high-accuracy anti-tank missiles included in this set. They can launch up to 17.5 kilometers and operate on the fire-and-forget principle. Additionally, the A-10 is equipped to carry both conventional and high-precision bombs, such as the 290-pound GBU-39 small-diameter bomb, which has its own guiding system and wings. Battles can now take place at great distances beyond the range of the cannon thanks to the aircraft's Maverick air-to-surface missiles, which are guided by electro-optics and infrared technology. In addition to these, the A-10 is equipped with a wide variety of weaponry, including as Hydra 70 rockets, GPS and laser-guided bombs, Sidewinder air-to-air missiles, and bombs that may split, ensuring its versatility. With its formidable defense systems, the A-10 can withstand the anticipated assault from adversaries launching low-altitude ground attacks. The pilot is protected from shell fragments by a unique nylon barrier, while the armor itself weighs 1,200 pounds of titanium aircraft armor. The A-10's protection system ensures the pilot's survival in hazardous environments by mitigating direct impacts from 23 mm cannon fire and 57 mm shell fragments, explosives, and armor-piercing bullets. In addition, the plane's two hydraulic flight systems and mechanical backup ensure that it can continue operating even in the event of severe damage. Despite its durability and track record of success in combat, the A-10 is always being upgraded with new technology to ensure its continued usefulness and strength for years to come. With Suite 8, the A-10 received significant modifications that enhanced communication between pilots and ground crew. To facilitate cooperation, they integrated the V-12 lightweight airborne recovery systems into the plane's control system. One of the new weapons in Suite 8 is the AGM-2 Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, which has 4 times the loading speed of the previous version and can shoot from farther distances. The A-10 no longer has to approach hazardous regions up close because of these modifications, which allow it to attack from greater distances. Adding a situational awareness pad to the flight program was one of the many enhancements made by Suite 9 following Suite 8. So pilots don't have to search high and low for ground controllers. They can just tell them where they are. Along with improved target tracking technology in the pilot's helmets, Suite 9 allows the A-10 to simultaneously attack up to 6 targets with pinpoint accuracy. The A-10 was upgraded with smart bomb technology by Suite 10, which included GBU-31 JDAM directing kits and laser-guided AG-20 advanced precision kill weapon systems. By utilizing satellite guidance, conventional bombs can be transformed into smart bombs. The Suite 18 synthetic aperture radar pod also allowed Suite 10 to include a plethora of diameter bombs, allowing them to accurately strike many targets simultaneously. A-10 Warthog fleet ordered approximately 100 new wings from Boeing, and the company spent almost $1 billion on the project. Additionally, Suite 10 included a new data link system that allows A-10s to quickly transmit enemy info, making it easier to know what's happening in battles. You can still benefit from these updates today. The most recent and excellent improvement, Suite 11, brings the A-10 in line with modern planes. Although they were unable to make it appear as sleek as contemporary jets owing to budget constraints, they did improve the plane's functionality and made most of the improvements inside. Since 2005, the A-10's cockpit has undergone the most significant update with Suite 11. A new digital screen, including an improved display system, was installed at Suite 11. To aid pilots in combat, this screen displays videos from targeting pods and maps more clearly. With Suite 11, you get a GPS that's tough to jam, a surround sound system for the pilots, a whole new radio, and easy ways to add more improvements down the road should Suite 12 be released. The A-10 has been quite effective in protecting American troops from enemy fire since it first went into service 50 years ago, making it the best close air support in the United States. It frightened both American allies and our adversaries. Now that fighting has broken out in the Middle East, the A-Team is prepared to demonstrate its might once more, particularly when America's closest ally, Israel, is engaged in fierce combat. A-10s performed admirably against 134 enemy vehicles, primarily tanks, during Operation Desert Storm. They could fly low to avoid opposing strikes and hit small targets with ease thanks to their pilots' good vision. The A-10s managed to avoid casualties despite the heavy fighting by destroying numerous Iraqi tanks, vehicles, weapons, and helicopters. The A-10 once again proved its mettle in 2003 during Operation Iraqi Freedom. It is a testament to the plane's strength and the pilot's skill that one A-10 managed to return safely after suffering severe damage in the battles over Baghdad, including damaged hydraulic systems and extensive body damage. The A-10 isn't merely fortunate, it's superbly constructed. Because its mechanisms are designed to continue functioning in the event that one component fails, it remains safe even when subjected to significant damage. The new engines and technology make it better in combat, and the fact that they are in distinct areas makes it difficult to attack. The A-10 has upgraded from outdated technology to newer stuff with features like A-10C precision engagement and improved plane control. These upgrades, together with updated electronic systems, helmet displays, and screens, guarantee the Warthog's durability for years to come. The A-10 may soon gain F-16-style screens and an improved data-sharing connection. Better display helmets are already available, and further enhancements are on the way. The Active Electronically Scanned Array, ASQ-236 DragonEye, a specialized device with the ability to see far and deep underground, is one potential solution. While the enhancements may not be as extensive as initially anticipated, they are nevertheless substantial, transforming the A-10 from a plane armed with guns into one equipped with a plethora of weaponry. The A-10 was first developed to combat Soviet tanks during the Cold War era. The A-10 would have been well prepared to war, armed to the teeth, and capable of outstanding flight had Russian forces attacked Ukraine on February 24, 2202. It is the best fighter plane available because of how tough it is in combat. Thunder from the A-10 Warthog, a fighting machine for decades. While the invasion of Afghanistan was underway in 2001, A-10s were conspicuously missing from the operations. On the other hand, Operation Anaconda began in March 2000, with the deployment of 2 A-10 squadrons to Pakistan and Bagram Air Base, Afghanistan, to combat the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. They continued fighting against Taliban and Al-Qaeda forces in the area after that. 60 A-10s were involved in the initial stages of action during Operation Iraqi Freedom, which began on March 20, 2003. A-10s accomplished an outstanding mission capability rate of 85% during the initial invasion of Iraq, according to a declassified assessment, Operation Iraqi Freedom by the Numbers, released by the United States Air Force's Central Command on April 30, 2003. In addition to carrying out 32 flights for the airdropping of propaganda pamphlets, they fired an astounding 11,597 rounds of 30mm ammunition. The overall efficacy of the A-10 was great, despite the loss of one aircraft near Baghdad International Airport to Iraqi fire towards the end of the operation. The A-10C, which was upgraded with the Precision Engagement System, achieved initial operating capability on September 27, 2007. The A-10C's improved digital avionics and communication systems were on display during its 2007 deployment to Iraq, especially with the 104th Fighter Squadron of the Maryland Air National Guard. These systems drastically cut down on the time it took to find and attack close air support targets. Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom were both greatly aided by A-10s, which accounted for 32% of combat sorties between 2009 and 2012. They conducted more than 11,000 sorties in Afghanistan in the first 6 months of 2013. 19% of KS operations in Iraq and Afghanistan were carried out by A-10s from 2000 to 2013, more than the F-15E Strike Eagle and B-1B Lancer, but less than the F-16's 33%. 6 A-10s took part in ground force attacks in Libya during Operation Odyssey Dawn in March 2011. Furthermore, in October 2014, in conjunction with Operation Inherent Resolve against ISIL insurgents, A-10s were sent to the Middle East. A-10s launched frequent strikes on ISIL sites in Iraq and Syria, and their involvement expanded after the November 2015 attacks in Paris. A-10s have been involved in multiple incidents leading to civilian casualties and friendly fire, notwithstanding their efficacy. The plane's overall capabilities has not been determined by these accidents, though. Returning to the region after a 3-year absence, 12 A-10s from the 3 to 3 days Expeditionary Fighter Squadron were sent to Kandahar Airfield in Afghanistan in January of 2018. This move demonstrated their ongoing significance in contemporary battles. The A-10 crisis and the quest for top-notch air support. People are still quite passionate about the A-10's future. The aircraft is facing replacement considerations from the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II-Y, which is anticipated to enter service at least until 2028 and possibly beyond. Nevertheless, skeptics such as Winslow Wheeler from the Strauss Military Reform Project contend that the A-10's demonstrated effectiveness and the astronomical expenditures linked to the F-2 make this move inappropriate. In 2012, the United States Air Force considered using the F-35B Stovall version for close air support operations, but it was determined that it couldn't generate enough sorties. In 2013, Congress and the Air Force considered other possibilities, including as the MQ-9B Reaper UAV, but those in favor of the A-10 claim that its powerful gun and thick armor make it the most effective ground attack weapon. They go on to say that ground commanders always want A-10 backup and guided weapons could be jammable. With a focus on emphasizing multi-mission aircraft, the USAF's fiscal year 15 budget considered retiring the A-10 and other single-mission aircraft. Significant cost savings necessitated the decision to retire a complete fleet along with its infrastructure. After first expressing interest in purchasing A-10s upon retirement from the USAF, the U.S. Army later stated that this was very improbable. Retiring the A-10 would save $3.7 billion, or between $150 million and $190 million, according to the USAF. Guided munition usage has reduced the need for specialized aircraft by enhancing the capabilities of various types of aircraft to carry out close air support missions. Bombers and multi-role aircraft have undertaken 80% of operational CAS operations since 2001. Although the United States Air Force had reservations about the A-10's resistance to modern anti-aircraft weaponry, the United States Army highlighted the plane's usefulness because of its versatile armament, psychological effect on enemies, and little logistical needs. The United States Air Force warned legislators in January 2015 that a new attack plane would need 15 years to be developed to replace the A-10. At the time, Air Combat Command Chief General Herbert J. Carlisle mused that it could be necessary to design a replacement for the A-10. Close air support was to be handled by F-16s and F-15Es at first, with the F-35As set to progressively take over once enough of them became operational over the next decade. Boeing started talking to foreign clients in July 2015 about selling stored or retired A-10s in almost flyaway condition. But the United States Air Force said it would not approve the sale of any A-10 planes. The U.S. Air Combat Command revealed their intentions to create a new plane to replace the A-10 in August of 2015. Future close air support aircraft designed for low-intensity, permissive conflicts, such counterterrorism and regional stability missions, were the subject of a study launched by the USAF the next year in 2016. The United States Air Force, USAF, explored several platforms for the A-10's replacement after realizing the F-35's high operational costs for routine duties. Textron Airland Scorpion, A-29 Super Tucano turboprops, and AT-6 Wolverine were some of the more affordable possibilities. The study also looked at potential new attack platforms, such as cleaner sheet attack aircraft or ATX versions of the TX next-gen trainer. The The United States Air Force said in January 2016 that it will indefinitely freeze A-10 retirement plans. A reevaluation of the F-35 acquisition figures, legislative opposition, the plane's participation in anti-ISIS operations, and deployments to Eastern Europe in reaction to Russia's military incursion in Ukraine all played a role in this decision. Consequently, the USAF ultimately decided to delay the A-10's retirement until the 22nd of February, and F-35s will progressively replace them squadron by squadron. The USAF Materiel Command brought the depot maintenance line up to full speed in October 2016 in anticipation of re-winging the A-10 fleet. At long last, the decision to preserve the A-10 indefinitely was made public in June of 2017. For years, the USAF has tried to retire the A-10 despite resistance from Congress. Nevertheless, a significant development occurred when the Air Force's proposal to sell 21 A-10s was authorized in the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act. We will replace these A-10s that are currently stationed at Fort Wayne with F-16s of the same number. Air Force Chief of Staff Charles Brown predicts that all A-10s will be retired by 28 or 29, and it is expected that 42 more aircraft will be retired under the 24 NDAA. But Congress has ordered a stop to budget cuts until the Air Force proves that other planes can do the A-10's close air support jobs just as well. Project on Government Oversight's Dan Grazier has blasted the Air Force, saying it's not ready for the changeover because F-35 pilots haven't had close air support training, even though the F-35 is supposed to be the main replacement for the A-10. Some proponents, pointing to the A-10's efficacy against Russian tank formations, pushed for their loan to Ukraine after Russia invaded the country in 2022. Opponents, however, voiced worries about the decision's potential diplomatic and tactical complications. In a December 22 interview, Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov said that he had, in late March, underlined the strategic importance of these A-10s, asked U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin for 100 of them. However, Austin allegedly told Minister Reznikov that the plan couldn't work, pointing out that the old-fashioned and slow A-10 may be a prime target for Russian air defenses because of its perceived vulnerability. The United States Air Force finally got congressional authority to start retiring A-10s in 2023 after multiple rejections. By 28 or 29, according to Air Force Chief of Staff Charles Brown, all A-10s will be retired. The United States Air Force must prove that other aircraft can effectively replace its close air support capabilities before Congress will allow future reductions in the number of active service A-10s. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.